All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I am doing fantastic, thank you.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Guys, let's jump right in. Everybody seems to be excited in chat. Good morning. Good morning. Glad to see all you guys there. Um, let's look at our gappers list this morning. So as you can see,
And of
Peter.
course, we
Yeah.
garner the comments right off the bat. We were issued a challenge on YouTube yesterday to snazz it up even more because people were commenting about our fancy shirts. So we
Yeah.
said we were given a challenge by Melanie to come suited. So Melanie, challenge accepted. Here we are. You even have custom cufflinks. I've got monograms on my shirt. We got it all going for you. So we're all good to go.
Absolutely. This is the stuff that Peter puts me up to, and yeah, it's good. It's fun. Let's
No,
get it going.
I have
Um,
I got pants. I can't get my legs up high enough to show you, but
yeah, I actually did not
I
stay in
did the full
shorts or
suit.
sweats today. Yeah, it just didn't feel right to do that. All right, my friends, let's get right to it. We definitely missed Jared this morning in the chat room. I'm so used to hearing him Monday through Thursday. So today he has something to take care of. So he was not able to join us in the chat room over in our members area. So we will have him. Well, tomorrow is Friday. So I know Fridays he doesn't do his thing. So we'll definitely have him next week. With that said, guys, let's jump right in. This morning we have a couple of things in the green, a couple in the red, but not a whole lot going on as far. Is tomorrow Thursday? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what day of the week it is. What day is
It,
it today?
it,
Wednesday?
it is Wednesday today, Hump Day, and
Yeah.
that would make tomorrow Thursday. Yes.
There you go. The only time I know when the day changes is when my kids are home on Saturday morning. So that is good enough for me there. All right, excellent. So here we go, guys. Our gappers list. So we'll have Jared tomorrow. All right, excellent. Our gappers list, not a whole lot going on as far as up and down, but we will see how this develops throughout the morning. Speaking of yesterday a little bit here, and I'll give you some of the stuff we're watching, and Peter will give you a rundown of what took place with Powell in the overall market. But as you can see here, we had a couple of things on deck, starting with Meta. And actually, Meta actually traded pretty decent compared to a lot of the stocks we had. And they were not all clean moves. Some of them were a little bit on the choppier side. They didn't really trade well, although the charts might look well this morning. They didn't trade all that well. But here's Meta, guys. Give you the little fake happening here. Then you're going to see this drop on many tickers that were trading yesterday, obviously. You're going to see that drop there, the little recovery. And then for the most part, an entire short, what seems like the entire day. Again, not a straight, highway to hell, but definitely a downtrend on Meta. And you're going to see this kind of pattern in many tickers yesterday. Rivian was incredible. Now, this one, on the other hand, really took a hit, started dropping out of the gates, never really got any type of pullback at the market open. And you can see how well that traded. Hung out around 1509. That seems to be a level we had there. Might be the pre-market low, I believe. But then again, after not being able to get above some moving averages, slams down again, goes down to 1469. So a lot going on with Rivian. I am sure we will have them on our list again today. They are up slightly with some really good volume this morning. Here it is, Tesla, guys. So Tesla, again, this initial drop you got here, then you got the pop again, like many stocks did around 10 o'clock. Then from there, it just kind of went sideways to about 1 o'clock or so until you got this nice little rally above the high of the pre-market. This 191.24, and then from there right back down to some levels down here. So that was Tesla yesterday. Already great volume, down 1.3. Not on our gappers list, yes, but we'll definitely be taking a look at that one. Then we had Nvidia, which again didn't trade so clean at the market open. Again, initial drop that everybody had, and then the pop, and then from there took a bit to kind of get going here. Later in the afternoon, though, not quite a mountain pass here, not quite, almost, but look
Not
at
quite.
this. Yeah, look at this. This candle kind of messes it up right here. This little one red one. Look at
Mhm.
this drop here. Beautiful drop, guys. Very toppy. You have three areas where it tried to get above, it couldn't, and just a beautiful short on Nvidia. If you were looking out for this yesterday, that traded well. And then last but not least, Dick's Sporting Goods again. Although this thing, it just doesn't trade well. I mean, I know it trended up here, but if you would look at the price action, which I was waiting for some weakness below these levels to go short. That didn't happen. It was just very tough to take this trade, guys. You can see here the price action, the volume was very light. Just not a great trader. The same way we kind of talked about Peter yesterday. We would love to trade this thing, but at times it just doesn't give us the good opportunity. With that said, let's jump over to our overall market and what took place yesterday and what's expected for this week.
Yeah, and I realized I didn't put on my fancy lights to make it look good.
There you go.
We are on day 2 of testimony week, right? So yesterday, as Carlos pointed out, almost every stock had the initial drop as the computers reacted to the 10 o'clock. And like we were talking about in the chat room is a great source of amusement, but also information. I mean, almost everything looks the same. We had the big drop and nothing was done. It was just 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock rolled over. Powell hit the podium, and look at that. The markets dropped and then recovered and sold off the rest of the day. So pretty typical pattern for everything. If I look across the markets, it was red. I mean, everything was bright red. Going into trading terminal, looking at the heat map, it just every sector ended up red, as well as pretty much every single stock I was looking at. Today in the markets, we're seeing a little bit of green. We're opening slightly green, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That could easily turn around. We have a couple of economic news elements that are coming out this morning. In fact, we should already have the ADP unemployment or employment numbers that came out. Although I have to look and see if I've got those numbers yet. I don't think I have the results yet. If anyone else does, let me know. I don't expect it to have a big impact on the market, nor the U.S. trade balance, frankly. Those are more for information. The big news, once again, is 10 o'clock when Powell testifies to the House, right? So Susan's saying that ADP was 240,000 versus an estimated 200. I have 205 as the estimate. Either way, slightly over, but as you can see, if I'm looking at the market, right, didn't really do much. We saw a little bit of a blip on the SPY right at 8:15 when that came out, but again, not much impact. 10 o'clock, expect something similar to what happened yesterday. Now, doesn't mean that it's going to do the exact same thing, right? I don't want you to preempt it and assume that it's going to go down and then back up. It could go the other way, right? It could jump up and go down. It's going to move one way or the other. Best thing you can do is just react to it and just be careful if you're getting into a trade anytime around there. Got a couple of questions about how long is the testimony? You never know. I don't know the House compared to the Senate, but generally they don't give you a time frame on it because it just depends on the questions, right? How long do the questioners take to ask their questions? How many are there? How long do they take to answer? So, it could be anywhere from likely no less than an hour to about 3 or 4 hours in length. So, it's going to be one of those things that'll last, but the reaction will probably be pretty quick, right, in that first half hour if the markets are going to react. We have a number of earnings today. A lot of the earnings are on the some retail sector. A couple of miscellaneous things we'll talk about, some of which are hitting our gappers list, some of which aren't. But I'm expecting us to have another day where I'm probably going to focus on, my old standbys because of that Powell testimony and the market movement. But we may get some outliers and some trending stocks that we can take advantage of today. One thing I will mention in big news, it's interesting to me, it's news in Canada. I haven't heard the news across the U.S., but today in Canada, we have 3 major grocers, grocery chains across the country, and they're being dragged in front of basically our House, if you will, to testify as to why they've posted record profits when we had record inflation. So it looks like they've taken advantage of the inflation to increase their prices even more and to pad their bottom lines. So, whether that causes more legislation down the road, I mean, the testimony today is likely to be directly meaningless, but indirectly it could be quite impactful at changing the minds of our politicians in terms of what regulations they may put in going forward. That could have a cascade effect, right? Because there is a concern over inflation in North America, and especially on food prices, which, commodity staples, everybody requires it, can't live without food. So just be aware of that, especially if you're trading something in that sector. Even in the US, I think there could be an impact. So there you go. Let's get to looking at some stocks on the gapper list.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, stuff is out of control, guys, when it comes to prices. So definitely something to see on what takes place there. All right, let's take a look here, guys. Let's start with our gappers list. I'm going to remove everything from yesterday. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. And now we're going to go ahead and hop into our gappers list, starting with CRWD. This is CrowdStrike. Again, not a favorite of mine. I don't think it trades very well. So I kind of usually tend to stay away from it. Not sure if there's any news today. It's gapping at 5.2 with some really good volume. Looks like last night they might have had some movement here. Maybe earnings. Looks like CRWD. Yeah,
Crowd, yes, was earnings overnight. They beat their numbers and quite handily, actually. They actually posted some pretty good numbers.
yeah, yeah. So I'll put them on my secondary list. Again, I think they're hit or miss. I think more miss than hit, to be honest. But we'll see what comes out of it. CRWD up 5.2, leading our gappers list this morning. But again, not usually a favorite of ours. Pre-market looks better than what we usually are. What we're used to seeing out of them. Let's see if that can provide any opportunities. Let's go over to SWX, and this looks very light on volume. It is up 3.4. I don't think this is Southwest Gas Holding, so I don't think I ever traded this one, but not looking good as far as the technicals right now. And I see Oxy's here as well, so that's another oil type company, and we also have Azul, I believe, is one as well. I remember their name, but I can't remember if they're a mining company or not.
Yeah, I don't
Transport, I
know if it
think.
is. So we have different news across each one of these.
Yeah.
You know my normal answer. As soon as you say oil and gas or mining, generally I'm like, just avoid it. Don't worry about it. On SWX, they have a secondary offering. That's only reason why it's on here, which
Mm-hmm.
normally brings the stock down. Interestingly, it's gapping up a little bit this morning, but that's the news I see, anyways, about them issuing a secondary. Oxy is a more interesting one. The news on this is that Berkshire Hathaway has once again increased their share in it. They are now up to little over 22% of the company that they own. So, that's a massive stake in Oxy. And, it's always, the market tends to follow whatever, it's not Warren Buffett really making the decisions, I don't think, these days. He's got a big
Yeah.
team behind him, and
Mm-hmm.
lots of people sort of, deciding where things go, I would think. But, Buffett still gets the credit. It's his company, I guess, at its core. So, but anyways, Oxy is getting some movement because of that further investment. So we could see just interest in Oxy, additional volume in it today as a result.
Yeah, yeah. I do like Oxy a lot better, so maybe we'll put them as a secondary list. And usually, Oxy, you're not going to get an incredible pre-market activity, and they can still be in play. So I'm going to put them on here, and we'll see what comes out of Oxy today. All right, that covers our gap up list. We had another one to sneak in here. Max N just getting above that at $100,000. 100,000 shares mark, and not looking so hot right now. They're up 22%. I really do not like the pre-market activity, and looking at their overall volume, they don't seem to get great volume at all. So yeah, we'll keep them off the shelf for now. We'll see if we find something else.
Carlos, what I'll
Yeah.
mention, it's not on our gap up list, but
Mm-hmm.
HKD. I can't find any news on it.
This
This
is
is AMTD
the
Digital.
yeah,
It's sort of been on and off our list in the past. You can see like it's had some big movements in the past, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like 1.8 million shares this morning. I'm not sure why it hit our list. It might have been under some of our criteria in terms of size or something like that. But
yeah,
exactly, what's going on?
yeah, yeah.
So if anybody has news on HKD, let me know, because I couldn't find anything really. But I'm interested to why it's moving. The pre-market action is choppy, but it is going. So I'm just curious as to what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely interesting, but I mean, this is one that I just won't touch. I just won't touch. I mean, it is just
The-
wild.
I, I love members that are just joining and they're like, "What's going on? Are Peter and Carlos going on CNBC? No, they have a court date. No, they got to go visit their lawyers. No,
Yes, yes, we gotta go visit our lawyers and make sure everything's in order.
what do you, we're
Great,
being
great
Wall Street
comments.
professional today, right? I mean, that's just we're doing it for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah, guys, HKD entertainment purposes only. I won't even add this to my list. It'll probably give me bad mojo here, whatever. I just don't want to be nowhere near this thing. Be very careful if you are going to be trading this. It can be wild. So Yeah, we'll skip on down for now. Let's see our list is our
You
our
guys are creative. I like it. Now
very
let's
creative.
see. We're going to see our
Yes.
parole officer. We're getting married at the courthouse.
Yeah, yeah. Love the
Anyway.
love all the answers we're getting here. All right, gap down, guys. Let's start here. UNFY This is down 28%. Again, we got just a handful of mischiefs type stocks today. This is also not one that kind of doesn't look like it trades well, doesn't really fit our criteria. It's just barely getting up above 100,000 here. It's down 28%. This is United Natural Foods. So it doesn't look like it trades well at all. Barely any volume, guys. I mean, the last 2 months at the beginning of the year, they haven't traded above a million shares. So that is questionable, to say the least, right?
And the news is just bad across the board here. They had earnings, they missed their earnings, and a pretty big miss on it, and they lowered their full year outlook, which basically says it's not going to get any better. So that's why Unify's down. Like you said, barely enough volume to hit the list, but the news is pretty poor. I don't know whether to expect to get more volume. It is a NYSE stock, which typically those get a little less volume of pre-market. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look great, Carlos, but
Yeah.
anyways, I'm secondary.
I'm not even gonna add it on my list. I like the gap down though. I do like the down 28%. That's always a big one there. But hopefully somebody can watch, and if they see something, they can call it out. HNI is down 17%. Another one too, kind of in that same category where they're down big but barely any volume, and they normally don't get any volume. This is the beginning of the year, and all they've done is the most is 958. So again, extreme light volume as well. Anything on this one that worth watching, Peter, or also something we should be skipping on?
I would pretty much skip it. They
Yeah.
are acquiring another company, which is why they're hitting the news. Usually, the
Oh, it's this
acquirer,
one here. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now they're not being bought. They are acquiring
hmm
Kimball International, whatever that is. And usually, again, the acquirer's stock drops typically. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what we're seeing.
Because
It's
they're
a,
usually taking
by
on
the
the
way,
risk,
it's
right?
yeah, and it's a cash deal, which means it's not tied to the stock price. So this thing could sell off if investors decide they don't like the deal.
Yeah, yeah. Let's head over here to SHLS, and this is horrible, guys. No, 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 no. Down 8.9 here, but just doesn't look like a trade. So look at the wicks on this can. When we talk about this is a horrible daily or a good daily, this is a horrible, horrible daily. Every candle is overlapping the previous one, and we're doing that with so much light volume. So even with this gap down, I don't expect anything great out of this. We're gonna move down to BBIO, and this one actually has a little bit of action, gapped up just a few days ago, and just kind of hanging out here above 16 when it was previously at 11. So they're seeing some increase in volume the last 2 days. Not sure what the news is. This is a biotech pharmaceutical company, looks like. Um,
Yeah, and they're raising more cash. They've got a secondary offering priced at
mhm,
$17. So again, secondaries dilutive to the stock, relatively big compared to their float. Their float, well, it's about 9 million shares, 8.5 million shares, and they've got 100 million float right now. So that's an appreciable percentage. So that's why it's dropping.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like the secondary type news here. It's maybe a possible. We'll come back to it. Wow, nothing on our main list today, guys. Nothing looking good so far. Let's check here. Lee, we'll do these last two and see what else you guys have on your end. Even Lee this morning down only 3%, very light volume. I do like the gap down below this level of support that we had here in the previous day close, so that's good. Maybe we can get a run towards the bottom. I'll actually like this one for a possible, but it needs to get more volume, and maybe we can test some of these levels down here towards 22, 21 from 23. That would be a really good move out of Lee and LI. We've seen that happen before here pretty easily. So I like the drop here, but the volume is just not there at the moment. All right. And I see some other ones popping up here, but we will stop here. Peter, anything you like this morning that's looking 10 times better than what we have on our list right
Well,
now?
just a couple that I'll mention because they're in the news. Campbell's Soup, which I'm still surprised is an independent company and as big as they are. Who knew the soup business was so big? But CPB is the ticker. Not a lot of volume this morning, but they had earnings. They beat their numbers and increased their guidance. So all good news for Campbell's Soup. CPB is in Bob.
Oh,
It's the
CPB. Gotcha.
CPB. Yeah.
There we
And
go.
I said you don't usually get a lot of volume on it, so it's not doing much. But just so you're aware that it has news. Um, Boeing, a little bit of news on Boeing. They're having some additional delivery delays with a couple of their models. So Boeing tends to shrug off this news, but it's worth mentioning because I know we have a lot of people that watch Boeing on a regular basis. So you should be aware that's happening. And the last one that we haven't already talked about is WW, previously known as Weight Watchers. They are buying a telehealth provider called Sequence. That primarily because they've got some weight loss drugs that seems to be very popular. I don't know if you guys are aware, like Ozempic, which they've been advertising heavily where I live, which was actually meant for a different purpose, but has been proven to be effective on weight loss, has created a rise of related weight loss type drugs, and Sequence is sort of a provider of one that WW seems to be getting to the market. So WW, as you can see, right, biggest single day rise in something like 7 or 8 years yesterday when that news broke. So we may see sort of a second day play. It's sort of trending down off of that news today. But again, low price may not be your cup of tea, but I thought I'd mention it in case anybody likes it.
Yeah. That's some really good volume yesterday too, guys. 80 million. So yeah, a lot going on there. Might be worth to have as a possible here. Might not do anything, but at least it's getting people's attention, and we might get something out of it. We'll see. All right, guys, let's take it to the chat this morning. Let's start here with Tesla. I see A-Firm. I see a couple of stuff on here. Let's go ahead. Actually, I'm going to start with Rivian. You guys threw that out very early on in both chats. So let's start with Rivian today, because these guys were hot yesterday as far as movements, not as far as the direction of the stock, because you can see here, we've just been getting slammed on Rivian. So not looking to go as far as that. But today already 4.9 million shares traded. They were as high as 1496 looks like. And we're back at the previous day close here. So very interesting moves the last couple of minutes here. I'm going to add this to my list. Looking really nice today. Now, Peter, this was what was the news yesterday? Was it earnings? I don't remember what
This
the
was
yeah.
there was two pieces of news yesterday, if I recall. One was a recall, and the other one was that they had a secondary offering of a convertible note, let me look, 1.3 billion
Yeah,
worth.
yeah.
So
All right. So we are going to go ahead and put that on the list. I do like that one. Let's take a look at also Tesla, of course, going to be on our list this morning already. 3.3 million, 1.3, gapping down 1.3, 3.3 million shares traded. So it will be in play. Not a lot of movement up or down here. Just kind of holding on to this range. Well, barely holding on to this range here, right over here. This is going to be the previous day close at 184.36. So yeah. We'll put it on here. Tesla will be good today. Let's see what we can get out of that one. Meta was also heavily in play yesterday. That traded well. Let's see
it
what Meta
was,
is
yeah.
up to. Not doing a whole lot. Down slightly today. Very interesting daily, by the way. The last couple of weeks, all in February and also coming into March here. You can see how this thing has been trading. Just trying to hold on to this gap up that they had a while ago. I don't know. It could be interesting. Maybe a possible. I don't see anything that looks blockbuster type list this morning so far. All right, what else? Tesla. We got Tesla. We got SE. What's SE? Big day yesterday. Oh, C Limited. Yeah, big day yesterday. I don't like this one as much, but man, they had a nice blowout there yesterday. 50 million shares traded, and you can see how well that did there. And looking at the charts, looks like it traded well. I mean, I didn't see the price action, but it looked like it was somewhat decent yesterday, the way these candles
So
are forming here.
yeah. On YouTube, we've got some friends there mentioning, well, AMD. I do love AMD, as you know. It's been trading
Yep.
very well for me. Good volume this morning compared to the last couple of days where the volume's been down. We're already up to 1.2 million.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I think, active today and worth keeping an eye. I don't see anything special in the movement really, but like always, I keep an eye on the open, wait and see what it gives me, and take advantage if I can. The other one that somebody's
Yeah.
mentioning, have we looked at CTRM? I just want to mention it because, Carlos, if you can put up CTRM with maybe a 1 minute chart up there, because it just shows better. This has a bunch of volume. It's a low float, relatively low float. But I wanted to point out, see these candles? See how they look almost mechanical on the 1 minute chart? right? When you see that, that is a sign that yes, there's volume. Now this is an 80-cent stock, right? So don't get me wrong, that the price is really low. But the bigger point is when you see candles that look like this, there might be a lot of volume, but this is more algorithmic trading, which in of itself is not a problem. 80% of the volume is traded by computers, you're going to expect it. But when the candles look so consistently, sort of in this mechanical range, right, where they're all like 1 penny wide, and you get weird volume spikes, and then no, like right at 8:30, you had no shares traded for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then it came back. I just avoid it because that means there's no retail players in it whatsoever. It's just the machines trading against each other. That really doesn't usually give you a good opportunity to trade, and it's very risky because you may be stuck in this 1 penny range for half an hour, then it'll jump 5 or 10 cents, which is not huge, but compared to the 1 penny, could really kill you if you were holding a really tight stop, which you would have to if you're trying to actually take advantage of it. So just be aware of it. Just based on that look, I usually avoid stocks that have that algo only feel.
Yeah, it definitely has that look for sure. All right, let's see what else we got going on, guys. So right now we have Rivian, we have Tesla, we have AMD, which look good so far. I don't see anything else that looks great. We might just stop here for now. We can always add more a little bit later. But let's go ahead and get to our community events and announcement, what's coming up for today and also the rest of the week.
Yeah, and I got you to screw up your chart, so you have to put them back.
It's
All
okay,
right,
I'll fix
well, no worries. We have our webinars as always, and last night we had the opportunity to, well, I delivered a webinar on my 1 to 10 trade, which is the trade I take into the close. So I went into depth and was really able to highlight sort of how it works, and hopefully we get more people trading it because it's like all strategies, it's under evolution and it's continuing to grow. Love the trade, and hopefully you will too. So if you're a member and you missed that webinar, you should be able to find it in the education center. We'll have it posted today if it's not already there. And thank you, Layla. I appreciate it, saying that it was great. Yeah, if you have questions, you can always follow up. We're very accessible. You can reach out to us. My email, for instance, peter@bearabletraders.com. All right, next week, though, in our strategy session, we're still not sure what's going to be happening. So
surprise
it's a
webinar,
mystery.
surprise guest, or moderator. Who
Surprise
knows?
mystery guest. We will figure that out. But I can tell you the week after we're going to have Andrew. And the week after that, the plan is to have Paris. We may pull something forward. Wednesdays are about psychology, which means that tonight, we're going to be talking psychology. Finally, it's the time when Creta will be up on stage talking to us about how your faulty thinking can lead to messing up trades. It's a great topic. We've all been victim of that, I'm sure, if you've traded for any period of time. Keep in mind, it's an early time, all right? So it's 1 hour after the market close. This happens at 5 o'clock. Markets close at 4. Webinars at 5 Eastern time in our webinar room. If you're an elite member, be there. You will not regret it. Next week, Mike is going to be delivering at a regular time of 8 p.m. his webinar on if you want money from the markets, then you got to show yourself the money. And again, I'll keep issuing that challenge. Make him say it. All right, so that leads us to tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, as we were talking about earlier. Today's hump day, tomorrow Thursday, followed by Friday. But Thursdays are all about the mentorship, and we're back to our regular schedule with John doing his mentorship at 11 and Thor at 8 o'clock. So, great lineup of activity and great lineup of, conversational topics. Now, our options room is active these days. I will mention, once again, Jared had some items to take care of, so Megan, I think, is running it all on her lonesome. She is in large and in charge to run that options room, but that runs today, Wednesday, because it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and hopefully you will join her there for the options chat. That being said, the place where you can go to get information, like I mentioned to you every morning, is on tradingterminal.com. Just check out Trading Terminal and you can get all your news like I've been doing all morning. I got the heat maps. I checked out what the active news is, and I look to see what's happening around the world. I mean, it's all there, so check it out. In fact, last night during the webinar, I even used the replay function to demonstrate how we could take the trade to sort of watch the stock chart and volume in, sort of live, if you will, or at least running it in the replay. So that was a fantastic addition to your trading tools. If you wanted to join us in the room, we've got to
Yeah.
make a correction on this
we
because Carlos and I had a wrist slapped yesterday.
oh, we
We
got
were
our,
reminded
yeah.
that we don't read well because normally we had an intro, which was the room. We changed it because it clearly says intro to the education center right up there, right? And there's a $1 charge just to avoid the bots from joining, but it's not for the chat room. You actually get access to all of our day trading and option course material, even a better deal. So if you want to see that webinar I delivered last night on the 1 to 10 trade, this is your chance for $1. You can basically get a free week. And not only that, but the
No,
hundreds of
wait.
other
I
courses
don't
that we have in the education center.
I don't
It'll
think
give
you
you a
get
chance. I mean,
Peter, I don't think you
sorry.
get those. You get only the day trading and options, not the webinars.
Oh,
Peter's
now I'm doing it wrong
Peter's gonna
again.
get us in trouble again. See, this
Oh
is why we
my
had to wear
God.
suits. We had to wear suits because it probably is a little bit harder for us to get fired if we wear suits. We look more serious. But yeah,
we're trying to look good because we apparently can't get the information right. All right, thanks, Carlos. So it's the live onboarding session and the day trade. Oh, so these are all the fixed courses as part of the course schedule then.
yes,
Got
yes,
it.
correct.
Okay. Well, that being said, then you should then get access. We have a bunch of briefs on our strategies. That's part of the day trading. Do they get access to that? I hope so.
Yes, I think so.
That should be in there. You should be able to find that, which will give you a summary of the webinar that I provided last night. It's already in there. So, and no, I'm not going to give the weather next. No. So, anyways, the intro does give you access to our day trading course. Again, there are still there's tons of material in there. And it's a great. We've really set it up to try and lead you through a day trading process. So whether you're brand new or whether you're very experienced, I promise you will find something of interest in there. It's well worth checking out. And we just want to try and introduce new members into the education center and show them the value that we've got. If you wanted to join the chat room on a more regular basis, so the chat room and some of the training material, take a look at the different levels. Then you can figure out which level makes sense for you. If you want it all, the Elite Annual gives you everything. At least that I'm certain about. It gives you a better price than going monthly, and you get everything. No restrictions. Everything we got, it's yours. Just join Elite Annual. It's the easiest way. I'll even Carlos and I will even send you a promo pic of us in our suits.
Yes,
well, maybe. we got
absolutely. Oh, good stuff. My friends, let's get to some levels. For those over on YouTube who are now who pay their $1 and we're trying to get in the chat room, we'll do this deal for you. If you ever see me and Peter somewhere, we will buy you a drink. So your $1 investment is going to go to your drink of choice. If you catch me and Peter in any meetup or webinar, wherever you find us, your $1 is going to go towards that drink. But no, guys, you can come in here for $1. You get access to see what our material is like. So definitely take advantage of that. So Dustin, we're not pulling your leg. This was not cash and grab type situation. Our apologies on that yesterday. All right, excellent. Guys, let's dive in this morning. So on my list, I have Rivian, I have Tesla, I have AMD. So very tight list today. Not a whole lot going on at the moment, but I do think we will have a interesting day to say the least. I think we'll get some stuff moving here. So let's look at Rivian. Rivian right now, again, a lot of volume, literally flat on the previous day close line right now. So again, just very interesting price action leading up to this pre-market with all this volume being traded and just continues to make new lows. This thing is just, again, just highway to hell. We saw the huge drop in December here and try to recover nicely to 22. Couldn't. Now we're getting down to new lows this morning. I don't see anything on the daily lower than, let me see here, going back. Let's say, oh, I can't see. No, I can't see it. This is all-time low, I think, looks like for where I'm standing. Yeah, all-time low here. So there's no levels towards the bottom. Towards the top, you got plenty highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. I'm going to mark down this the high of the pre-market, of course, right over here at 1497. And then I'm also going to mark down this date right over here. It's going to be around 1554. You got a couple of levels there as well. So there you are, all set. Nothing below this low of the pre-market right now. Low from yesterday, which was probably your all-time low is going to be 1450. So we'll mark that. There's nothing really below that at the moment. Here is Tesla, guys. So Tesla right now, we have again just a little bit of a drop, kind of losing this previous day close area. This 188 has been a great area of support. If you look at Tesla overall, you got a nice range here in 3 levels that worth noting. So you got the 215, which is all the way at the top. That has been the most recent highs there. And then you have this 200 right here. You see the ping pong action between 200. We kind of went above it here, but back into this range again between 200 and what seems to be 188, the previous day close. So we're somewhat trying to lose that now. Let's see how far this is going to go. 184.50, 184.36 is the low of the pre-market. Below that, we do have a level over at 181.42. So that's looking pretty good there. Just one more towards the bottom because we know how Tesla can be. It can really get going. 174.30, just in case we get a flush here, towards the bottom on Tesla. Last but not least, AMD. It's got some good volume, 1.2 million shares traded right now. We're kind of stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days here and here. So they're pretty much setting it for you. You don't have to do anything else there. 82.95, high of the pre-market, low of the pre-market, 81.76. Once you put those 2 levels in, you really do not need to add anything else on AMD. I see a couple of more names being thrown out. We got some time, so we can look at some other ones. I see we have Cuba's giving us AMC. Let's take a look. No. AMC, we need heavy volume for AMC to be somewhat considered, right? 237 is just not going to cut it at the moment. You need to be well in the millions, I think, right? At least 1.5 or higher for this one to be in play as far as a meme stock, right? I mean, this stock has nothing going on really. It's just, is it going to meme or not today? So that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, exactly. All right, excellent. Let's take a look at Rivian is good. We have that on deck. Any questions? Anything else that we can get into? Adams is good.
Rivian, remember I was talking about the algorithmic trading. Rivian's got a ton of volume, but as you might expect with that much volume, again, right now it's being dominated by the computers. So it's got a lot of these 1-cent candles, right? So while the volume is there, I don't know that it's going to be in play to make good moves. We'll have to watch it. I mean, huge volume, 6.6 million. Like that's really pretty big. So, but look at the volume yesterday.
I mean, look at this one candle here.
128 million shares yesterday. So, it's likely to be in play. Dustin was saying the price action was very algo driven. And I'm not surprised. I mean, I can see that. You can already see that pre-market, right? And that's a problem. Again, keep in mind, the algos are in everything, right? They're trading 80% of all of the 80+% of all the volume, but you need the retail, you need the the others, the normal people like us, and then even the market makers that are trading bigger volume, but manually in there to create the patterns that we can effectively trade.
Absolutely.
Opinion, of course.
You can see this one candle here, 1.3 million. I mean, it moved a penny, right? A penny or two, and 1.3 million shares being traded there. I mean, we're at a big, strong technical level, guys. The low, the 52-week low. So you're going to get this action. If it breaks out of that, especially on a squeeze, we might see better trading. So let's see what happens here. Yes, Chip, you can hold us to that. And I'm seeing the emails coming in. There's tons of people signing up for this dollar deal that Peter and I are going to owe drinks to. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. So yeah.
All right, there you go.
There we go.
I will take an opportunity, since, as you said, we've got a minute or two. Today, I was reminded by one of our members, is International Women's Day. So we want to take a moment to recognize all of our female traders in the room, Megan and Susan, for example, who are part of the team. And of course, all of the female traders out there from Layla to Art to Susan to, there's another Megan to, I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a million names here, but Barbara, there you go.
There's a ton.
So there are a ton. D, they're all speaking up, or at least those who wish to type. So happy International Women's Day. And thank you for being part of the community and part of the room, because frankly, our experience is that, you make a great part of the community. And I was amazed, Carlos, in San Diego as we traded. Normally, it's a bunch of guys that are there at these sessions. Increasingly, people have shed that concern, and that the room was probably about a quarter to maybe a third women that were attending. So we'd like to see those numbers ever increase, because it doesn't matter. All you need is discipline and an ability to focus on what you're doing, and trading can be your basket. So
And in other words, we'll translate that, women make better traders than men by far. So you have a better opportunity
I
to
was trying
become
not to say
successful.
that, but it has statistically been proven to be true.
Yes, yes. All right, excellent, guys. I think we're all set here. Again, a very small list this morning. Not a whole lot that looks great. Coming up on 9:15, I think this is going to be it for us. As far as our moderators list, I could tell they don't have a list out here yet, so they're probably not finding anything they love at the moment. I mean, I only have your list, Peter. IPO is baby today. Is that an extra
Yeah,
IPO
one
or
of the best IPO stock names that I've seen in a
yeah?
long time.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised this was not taken already by someone like,
It actually, it's a good point. You would think that it would. And the company behind it is interestingly named Pish Posh.
hmm,
Pish Posh.
nice,
So,
nice,
anyways,
nice.
that's supposed to be opening today. We'll see if it does. But if it does, I'll be ready and I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we are all set. Again, no moderators list besides Peter's today. I have AMD, Tesla, Meta, secondary list, WW, Oxy, and Apple. So if any other moderators want to throw out their list before we hang it up here, that would be great. We'll put it up. But for the most part, this is what we have. Just to recap my list, we have Rivian, we have Tesla, and we have AMD. All three looking really good. Rivian, you got to be a little bit careful here. I mean, it has not moved from this previous day close line. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna
The
touch this. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is a little weird. So I was just going to
And
mention, since we had time, one of the things I
yeah,
love about trading is to be able to talk with like-minded traders, understand what they're doing, but also, see them live the lifestyle that we're all sort of going after. We've got two of our key people who normally do the open. Andrew is in Dubai right now. Is Dubai? Is that where he is?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's over in Dubai, and then he's going to be traveling to Europe before he comes back, because he just loves to travel and gets out there on the road. And Brian is in Vietnam, and he was posting us some pics last night, a little video of him on the streets of Hanoi. So it's great to see people out and doing what they want to do, whether that's travel or buy yourself something nice, or just frankly live a quiet lifestyle on your own terms. Right? That's what we're all seeking, I think, when we enter trading. One of some personal life objective that we're hoping it's going to be able to achieve. So, anyways, it's I love seeing them out there, and because of that, we've got different people in the chat room in the morning, so we get to see other styles of trading. Yesterday, Thor and Paris traded with us at the open. There you go. There's Andrew, one of his picks,
Yeah.
getting right into the local culture.
He
So,
says he hopes to see some traders in the area. So if you guys are in that area, definitely follow him on Twitter. I'm sure he'll post something for some kind of meetup. He always does wherever he goes. So follow him on Twitter. Also follow him on Instagram at Bearable Traders. Apple. Let's look at Apple. Yeah, pretty again, not doing a whole lot. AMD looks even better than Apple today, right? So again, pretty quiet for the most part. We'll continue in chat and see what else comes up. I see Thor came in with his list. He's looking at Snap, Tesla, AMD, and Amazon, and also looking at the pivot bot alert as well. So, guys, trade safe over on YouTube. We'll see you again tomorrow, Thursday. Engineering the markets at 8 a.m. And yeah, we'll trade safe. We'll have a great one. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, guys. Don't forget, it does help us out a ton. Help us out on the channel to get going. So definitely appreciate that. And have a great trading day, guys.
yeah, happy hump day and have a great trading day. See you tomorrow.
Got my black and red going. So we're ready. We're ready for this. I actually, For the record, this is what I was wearing before I put my shirt on. I just had this on. I almost just did this because I just thought that would be more that I thought that would be even more Florida than usual. But I'm pretty sure at some point I'm supposed to like not overshare, but y'all let me know when that happens. Until then, we'll just keep doing what we're doing.